Hi guys, here we are with your translation lesson for Spanish. There's no worksheet today, so make sure you've got a piece of paper or you've got your exercise book to complete your answers. Our starter for today, you need to answer the following questions, and these are based on last lesson. So what does NM mean? What does ADJ mean? What does V mean? And a true or false question. Pause the video and come back when you've got your answers. Okay, so number one, the answer is a masculine noun. So this is what we see next to a word in a dictionary or online. Number two, ADJ, adjective, a describing word. What does V mean? It means a verb, and remember it's always found in its infinitive form. So in Spanish we will always see it in a dictionary or on wordreference.com with the letters AR, ER or IR at the end. And number four, true or false, adjectives are always in the feminine form when looking them up online or in a dictionary. That is false. Adjectives are always going to be in the masculine singular form, and then you need to remember how to change them so they agree with the noun. Okay, so today's lesson, translation skills. We are looking at developing writing and translation strategies from English to Spanish, and this is all in preparation for a translation task you will have in a couple of lessons' time. And this is a 50-word paragraph translation you will have to do. Let's have a look at what we can do when given a chunk of English and we have been told to translate it into Spanish. One of the very first things that I do before I even start translating is obviously read what is in front of you, and then I see what it's talking about and I look for the vocabulary that I need. So this topic's been about family, hair, eye colour, personality, describing someone, so that could be something later on. Number two, who is talking? Is it the first person? Is it the third person? So I for first person, he, she for third person. Make sure you're making some notes on these guys. You can always pause the video whenever you need to. Number three, what tense is being used, and are there any time phrases to help me decide? So when we're talking about tense, if it's in the present tense, it's something that's happening right now. For example, you are listening and watching this video. That is what you are doing now. And a time phrase could include today, now, and tomorrow for future tense, yesterday for past tense. Number four, useful little words. For example, we could have quite, very, a lot, a little, but, because. These have all got different terminologies, which we'll see a bit later, and I'm sure you'll be able to recognise some of these in a text. Okay, so let's focus on each step with some sentences. We're going to look at step one. What is the text talking about? What vocab do I need? Pause the video, go through sentences 1 to 6 and see if you can highlight the information as to what is going on. Give yourself about 3 minutes, 3 to 4 minutes. Okay, so I am going to highlight the words in purple with what is the topic vocab. And here we have here, so number one, it's live. We're talking about a location where we live. Number two, name. 3, blonde hair, blue eyes. We've got family members in number 4, 5 and 6. But in number 5, we're describing the brother a bit more, and we're describing the sisters a bit more in number 6. So this is a summary of the vocab that you would need in Spanish to translate these sentences. Step number 2. We will look at that in a bit, but let's have a quick fire match up. So as quick as you can, pause the video and match up the Spanish to the English. You have seen this vocab before. Try not to use your knowledge organisers. Come back in 2 minutes. Okay, so hopefully you've managed to get these with their correct pair, and these are the answers. So number 1, los ojos marrones, brown eyes. Number 2, el pelo rubio, blonde hair, simpático, nice. Bajo, short. Una casa, a house. En el campo, in the countryside. Tiene is the verb he, she has, and es is the verb he, she is. And remember, we can also say es for it is, so it is interesting. Es interesante. Brilliant. Now let's go for number 2. Who is talking? Is it the first or third person? We've already got the vocab in purple, so we know what it's talking about. And now we've got to go a bit further and see who is speaking. Give yourself another 3 to 4 minutes to have a look, and you can always use a different colour pen to highlight the sentences. And here are our answers. So in red is what I've gone for. So verbs and person. So I live, first person, I. Live is the verb. My name is. Still talking about the first person, even though we don't have the word I, we are saying my instead. I have for 3 and 4. And the verbs that we've got in 5 and 6 are slightly different. They're the third person because we're talking about my brother and my sisters. So my brother wears and my sisters are. And then a bit later on we're saying the brother is tall and that the sisters do not have blue eyes. Important to highlight that whole phrase because it is negative. Excellent, guys. So make sure you've got this, and let's move on. What tense is being used? Are there any time phrases to help me decide? Same colours as last time. Pause the video, give yourself only 1 minute to read through the sentences. Okay, so we've now added tense to the red options. We've got verbs, person, tense, because they all link very nicely together. But there's actually no changes here. There is no time phrase to help us decide, but the clues are that it's the present tense through the verbs I have, I live, my name is, my brother is, ... has, any sort of verbs like that. And now let's recap on the present tense. So, when do we use it? To talk about something that is happening right now. Formation. So how do we form it? We find an infinitive. An infinitive is a verb that we find in the dictionary and it's in its purest form. And in English it may be something along the lines of to eat, to cook, to clean, to dance, to drink. And in Spanish we identify them with the letters AR, ER and IR at the end. Step 2, we need to remove AR, ER and IR and add the ending you want from the present tense, which are as follows. Make sure you've got this noted down. I am certain it's in your knowledge organisers, so have a look at the grammar pages, normally 5 to 7 in any one of your knowledge organisers. Let's look at an example. We have the infinitive hablar, which means to speak. I want to say I speak. So, step 1, I have found my infinitive. Step 2, I'm going to remove the AR, so I have habla. I want to say I speak, so I need to go to my table and decide on which pronoun means I. Because it's the first person, it's always going to be the first line. Yo means I. Tu, you singular. Él, ella, he, she, so that's your third person. It's the third person on the list. Nosotros is we. Vosotros is you all. And ellos, ellas is they plural because it's the third person doubled. So we're sticking with yo. So step 3, I have the ending I want. I go across to AR because it was hablar, and I add O, so habló. See if you can do these 4 conjugations. That's what we mean when we say change the infinitive. So change it to the person indicator. So change cocinar to I cook, escuchar to he, she listens, vivir, we live, and beber to they drink. Give yourself a minute for each verb, 4 minutes. Okay, so hopefully you have got these as your answers. So cocinar, take off AR, add O, cocinó. Escuchar, take off AR, add A, escucha. Vivir, we live, vivimos. So we're jumping over to this column here. We want to say we, nosotros, go across, vivimos. And beber, they drink, it's the third person doubled. So it's the bottom one, beben, because it's ER. Excellent, guys. So we're back to our checklist. Number 4, useful little words. For example, quite, very, a lot, little, but, because. See if you can find them in our sentences and come back when you're ready. Okay, so we have highlighted them in blue. And these little words are also known as connectors, such as y and pero. Intensifiers, so that's to give more emphasis to something. So muy, bastante. Muy meaning very, bastante meaning quite. And quantifiers, that's to tell us how much of something there might be in a sentence. Mucho meaning a lot, and un poco de meaning a little bit. And here are your answers. So you've got and but. Good. Now your challenge is to translate these sentences. Use the checklist, and if you need more support, go to your Knowledge Organiser Module 4. Give yourself 5 to 8 minutes to complete this task. Okay, how do we get on, guys? These are our answers. I live in Horsham. Vivo en Horsham. Number 2, me llamo Lucy. Number 3, tengo el pelo rubio y los ojos azules. Make sure you've got the agreement here. And if you're taught by myself, Miss Henton, I've noticed that a couple of you are missing these articles. Really important we have those. Tengo el pelo rubio y los ojos azules. I have a brother and 2 sisters. Un hermano y 2 hermanas. Make it plural. My brother wears glasses, lleva gafas, and is tall. Es alto, masculine, because it is our brother. And our sisters are nice, son simpáticas, pero no tienen los ojos azules. So our negative sentence, making sure that no goes before the verb. Just to emphasize a bit on the agreements, so los ojos azules, 2 hermanas, we're talking about a brother, so he is alto, and we're talking about sisters, so they are simpáticas, and again with los ojos azules. Okay, so a paragraph is no different to sentences. It's just being put together. I would like you to imagine this was a 15-minute exercise, absolute maximum, in class, and I want you to break down the sentences into the colour coding that we've previously done. If you need some support, you've got your book, Knowledge Organisers, you've got this lesson, and you've also got the techniques that we use to look up on word reference. If you want a challenge, give yourself 5 minutes without any support and then 5 minutes to use your Knowledge Organisers. Off you go, guys, in your books, and then come back for the translation. Okay, so hopefully your paragraph may have looked a bit like this if you were breaking it down in English first of all. So you've got our purple for the vocab, red for our verbs, person and tense, and blue for our little words. And these would be the paragraph translation. Make sure you're pausing the video and you're going through sentence by sentence. Okay, so that's the end of our lesson. Next lesson is going to be your translation assessment That's why we did this one. But beforehand, we are going to be doing some revision. So make sure that you're practicing forming the present tense, you're looking at your vocabulary, and you're looking at these translation tips. Muchas gracias, chicos. Adiós.